It's likely been a while since you first noticed the signs of adultery. Your husband staying out late, the implausible explanation, the incessant gaslighting. You've been at home doing what a good wife does, taking care of the kids, making his meal, folding his laundry, while he's off sneaking off to hotel rooms, lavishing his affections on someone else, betraying your trust. And now, as you enter a divorce, he wants you to believe that Connecticut is a no-fault state and that none of this matters and that everything that you own should be divided 50-50. But how much better would it be if instead of accepting that false proposition, you could take him to trial? You could run him up the flagpole and make him pay for the incredible, unjustifiable pain that he's caused to both you and your family. What if you could confront his infidelity head on and expose him for who he is and put a price tag on his betrayal? In this video, I'm going to reveal the truth about Connecticut being a so-called no-fault state, and I'll explain how adultery can profoundly impact a divorce, both in terms of property and alimony. And I'll talk briefly about why it's crucial that you take immediate action if your case hasn't been filed, even if you're on the fence and thinking about working things out. When we say that Connecticut is a no-fault state, all that means is that you don't have to prove fault to get a divorce. The cause of the breakdown, however, is a statutory factor that the courts must consider when determining how much alimony to award and who gets what. And when it comes to the factors, contributing to the breakdown of a marriage, adultery is right up there at the very top of the list. So, if adultery is a factor that the courts must consider, why do so many divorce lawyers and mediators downplay its importance? The answer is kind of simple. Because they just want to settle your case. And they know that if you believe that his adultery should be given considerable weight, there's a greater chance that you'll seek a more substantial share of the marital assets, and that is going to get in the way of their goal of making the case go away. They're not effective trial lawyers. They don't want the case going to trial. So, when a lawyer says that it doesn't matter, what they're probably doing is getting you preconditioned to accept less than what you equitably deserve and are setting you up for failure. Far better approach is to litigate these type of cases aggressively, to gear up for trial and send a clear, unmistakable message that you're going to hold him 100% accountable for his betrayal. With the right set of circumstances, adultery can turn what would otherwise be a 50-50 case into a 60-40 case. And in a high net worth case, the difference between 50-50 and 60-40 can be substantial. Now, I should qualify all of this and say not all forms of adultery are created equal. In some cases, it might not play a significant role, particularly if the affair happened a very long time ago or if you've had a relatively short marriage. Now that's where my expertise comes into play, determining how hard we can ride the issue so that we can maximize its value for everything that it's worth and maximizing our return. Punishing adultery is what I do best. Now, it might sound like I'm picking on the guys, and to be candid, I suppose that I am, because most of the time it's the guys cheating on the women, but not always. And when it's the women who cheat, make no mistake, there's a substantial price to be paid there as well. It cuts both ways. But I will add this. When a long-term marriage ends after 20 or 25 years, women tend to face a more uncertain future than the men, which is all the more reason why women, particularly those who've been cast aside for a younger woman, need to be appropriately compensated in the divorce, especially if they've given up their careers to stay home and raise the kids. Your long-term quality of life depends on what happens in this case. It's absolutely critical that you get the right result. Now, in another video, I talk about the importance of filing first. I'm not going to repeat what I said there. I'll encourage you to watch it, but I will add this. If your spouse has cheated on you and you have the opportunity to present your case first and drag him through the mud, exposing him for the cheating liar that he is, it's a huge tactical advantage. I talk about the importance of filing first in the other video, but in an adultery case, that advice is more important than ever. The last thing I want to say is this. I know that some of you may be thinking that maybe you can get past this, that the relationship still might be saved, that you might be able to work things out. I don't have the answer for that. That's a very personal decision. A lot of it's going to depend on you, on him, what he's willing to do. And I'm not in the business of getting people divorced. I'm in the business of helping people achieve their objectives, whatever they may be. But you deserve to know the truth, and you deserve to get protection. You need the protection. And if it turns out that the relationship can't be saved, then at least you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that when the day of reckoning comes, and it will, you'll have the opportunity to present your side of the story first, if you beat him to the courthouse. And the sooner you file after the affair is discovered, the more likely it is that the court will accept the proposition that it was the affair that was the principal cause of the marital breakdown. Now, there of course is a certain degree of strategy that needs to be employed here, and every case is fact specific. If you're the victim of adultery and you want to know more about how fault might factor into the analysis, I invite you to request a complimentary consultation. Don't let anyone tell you that adultery doesn't matter. They're either misinformed or they're trying to deceive you. Call me today. You'll be so glad you did.